Thousands of animal species threatened by climate change, novel analysis finds. By staff writer, 2,500-word special report. A sweeping new global analysis has revealed a sobering truth about the state of the world's wildlife. Thousands of animal species across continents are now at risk of extinction because their habitats are changing faster than they can adapt. The study, conducted by an international consortium of climate scientists and conservation biologists, paints one of the most detailed and alarming pictures yet of how rising temperatures, shifting rainfall patterns, and extreme weather events are reshaping life on Earth. The findings underscore a stark message: climate change is no longer a threat on the horizon. Its effects are already unfolding, pushing many species to the brink and transforming ecosystems that support both wildlife and human communities. A global crisis unfolding in real time. The new analysis, published this week by the Global Biodiversity Observatory, GBO, examined more than 25,000 species of mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, insects, and marine life. Scientists used a combination of climate projections, habitat mapping technology, and species survival data to understand how animals might fare over the next 5 decades. The conclusion was unmistakable. Without significant action, over 30% of the species studied could face dramatic population declines, and nearly 12% risk full extinction within the century. Dr. Elena Machado, a leading climate ecologist at the University of Barcelona and one of the study's co-authors, said the results reveal a level of biological disruption we have never documented before. Greater than, species are moving, shrinking, or disappearing at rates that surpass anything in the last several million years. Drive. Machado explained, climate change is not acting alone. Habitat loss, pollution, and overexploitation are making everything worse. But warming temperatures have become the primary accelerator. Why climate change hits animals so hard. While many environmental threats are localized, climate change is totalizing. It affects land, oceans, rivers, forests, and even underground ecosystems simultaneously. Animals face multiple overlapping pressures. 1. Rising temperatures shrink habitats. For species adapted to specific temperature ranges, like snow leopards, polar bears, frogs, and salamanders, even small changes can be fatal. Heat stress affects their metabolism, breeding cycles, and survival rates. 2. Shifting rainfall alters food chains. A minor change in rainfall can collapse entire ecosystems. Desert animals might face harsher droughts, forest species may lose shelter, and marine life suffers when rainfall affects coastal nutrients. 3. Extreme weather disrupts breeding. Heatwaves, storms, floods, and wildfires can wipe out breeding grounds for birds, reptiles, and amphibians in an instant. 4. Oceans absorb heat and CO. Marine animals are particularly vulnerable. Warming waters force fish to migrate, coral reefs bleach, and increasing acidity weakens shell-forming species like clams and crabs. Climate change is eroding the ecological foundation that animals rely on, said Dr. Rohan Mahindra, a climate and wildlife expert from the Indian Institute of Environmental Sciences. The pace of warming is too fast for evolution to keep up. Species already feeling the impact. The study highlights several species and ecosystems already at risk. Globe African savannas, elephants, giraffes, and large carnivores like lions and cheetahs are losing water sources and experiencing shrinking grazing lands as droughts intensify. Elephant herds in Botswana have already altered migration routes, traveling hundreds of kilometers farther than usual in search of water. Evergreen tree North American forests. Moose populations in Minnesota are suffering from heat stress and parasitic outbreaks that worsen in a warmer climate. Meanwhile, repeated wildfires have decimated habitats for birds like the northern spotted owl. Snowflake polar regions. The report reaffirmed earlier warnings. Polar bears, Arctic foxes, and walruses are running out of ice. Seasonal ice now forms weeks later and melts earlier, reducing access to food sources. Wave coral reefs. Perhaps the most fragile victims are corals. Mass bleaching events are now happening almost yearly in some regions, destroying food chains for thousands of marine species. The study warns that by 2050, over 90% of coral reefs could be in severe decline. Cloud with rain. South Asian rivers. River dolphins in India and Pakistan, including the endangered Indus River dolphin, face low water levels, higher temperatures, and pollution accumulation worsened by climate-driven drought. Bird. Latin American rainforests. Bird species such as the harpy eagle are losing both nesting sites and prey animals as deforestation intertwines with hotter, drier seasons. A silent wave of climate migration. One of the study's most striking insights is the scale of animal migration happening right now. Species are on the move, northward, upslope, or deeper into oceans, in search of suitable conditions. But migration is not always a solution. Animals are moving into areas already occupied by other species, creating new competition, new predators, and new diseases, said Dr. Machado. It's like reshuffling the entire biological deck. Examples of this include tropical fish invading temperate zones as waters warm, mountain species like pikas moving uphill until there is nowhere left, birds arriving earlier in spring, disrupting insect and plant cycles. The rapid re-sorting of nature could reshape ecosystems for generations. Human communities are feeling the shockwaves. Although the study focuses on wildlife, its implications for people are profound. Declining fisheries. Fish migrations affect coastal economies, from East Africa to Southeast Asia. Communities that once relied on predictable fishing seasons now face shortages. Crop pollination under threat. Bee populations are collapsing in several regions, partly due to warming temperatures and erratic blooming cycles. Without pollinators, global farming could face steep declines. New disease risks. With animals moving into new territories, diseases spread more easily, impacting humans, livestock, and wildlife alike. Tourism collapses. From coral reefs to savannas, wildlife tourism accounts for billions in revenue. Declining species threaten livelihoods worldwide. Protecting animals is not charity, said Dr. Mahindra. It's self-preservation. The most vulnerable groups of animals. The study breaks down species into categories showing highest vulnerability. Check mark. Amphibians, the most threatened. Frogs and salamanders rely on moist environments, making them extremely sensitive to temperature rise and drought. Over 40% are at risk globally. Check mark. Insects, butterflies, bees, and dragonflies face habitat disruption, altered seasons, and pesticide interactions intensified by heat. Check mark. Marine mammals, whales, dolphins, and seals struggle with prey migration and increasingly noisy, polluted waters. Check mark. Island species. Islands like Madagascar, the Galapagos, and many Pacific regions hold unique animals with nowhere to escape. Check mark. High altitude animals. From Himalayan snow leopards to Andean condors, these species have limited ability to move upward or adapt. A race against time. What needs to happen now? The authors emphasize that it is not too late, but action must be swift. 1. Rapid emission reductions. Lowering greenhouse gases is the single most important step. Without this, other efforts become band-aids on a wound that is still growing. 2. Habitat protection. Safeguarding wetlands, forests, and oceans from development gives species room to adapt naturally. 3. Climate-friendly urban planning. Reducing heat islands, restoring green spaces, and protecting rivers can benefit both city wildlife and people. 4. Wildlife corridors. Connecting fragmented habitats allows animals to migrate safely as climates shift. 5. Conservation breeding programs. Some critically endangered species may need human-assisted recovery efforts. Every degree of warming avoided will save thousands of species. Drive. Machado stressed. The next decade is decisive. Stories from the front lines. The report includes case studies from around the world, demonstrating the human-wildlife connection. In Kenya, rangers are tracking elephant herds with drones to help them find water. Some waterholes have been artificially filled during extreme droughts to prevent mass deaths. In Australia, koala populations devastated by bushfires are now virtually dependent on conservation zones where trees are irrigated during heatwaves. In the Amazon, local tribes are helping scientists track changes in jaguar behavior, noting that the big cats are hunting closer to riverbanks due to shifting prey populations. In the Arctic, indigenous communities report polar bears entering towns more frequently, driven by hunger and melting ice. Each story shows that the crisis is no longer abstract. It is already transforming lives. Not all news is grim. Signs of hope. Despite the overwhelming challenges, the report includes reasons for cautious optimism. Checkmark species are showing adaptability. Some animals have surprised researchers by adapting quickly. Certain bird species now alter migration patterns based on real-time weather cues rather than seasonal instinct. Checkmark conservation efforts work. Tigers, pandas, and some whale species have rebounded thanks to focused protection. Checkmark renewable energy is rising. Global investment in wind and solar energy hit new records last year, preventing millions of tons of future emissions. Checkmark young activists are driving change. From Europe to South Asia, youth-led climate movements are pressuring governments to act faster. Hope is not enough. Drive. Mahindra said, but hope combined with action can still save much of the world's wildlife. What happens if the world fails to act? The researchers warn that business as usual will push ecosystems beyond thresholds from which they cannot recover. Coral reefs could collapse entirely. Tropical forests may become savannas. Marine food webs could unravel. Rivers may run dry more frequently. Iconic species, from elephants to penguins, may vanish in the wild. Such losses would echo through human societies, threatening food security, water supplies, and global stability. We are gambling with Earth's life support system. Drive. Machado concluded. And the stakes could not be higher. A turning point for the planet. The new analysis serves as both a warning and a call to action. The fate of thousands of animal species hinges on decisions the world makes in the coming years. Climate change is not a distant threat but a daily reality, felt in storms, droughts, fires, and the disappearance of once familiar wildlife. Yet the message is ultimately one of agency. Humanity has the tools, knowledge, and power to alter its trajectory. Protecting the planet's animals is not just a moral obligation. It is essential for preserving the natural systems that sustain human life itself. As world leaders prepare for upcoming climate negotiations, this report stands as a stark reminder. There is no more time to waste.